Did you know January is National Mentor Month?
I did not know it was a thing until recently as we began planning this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so apparently it is to raise awareness of the importance of mentors in people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, were you aware of it before?
No. You told me that, so.
Well, I only told you that because actually it was part of a list that Lydia helped put together for us.
Yeah.
Of like, here's all the things that you could potentially talk about based on what's going on. That was very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we chose mentorship because, especially when we think about what's happening in 12 to 29-year-olds as it relates to their mental health, their relationships, and life transitions. I mean, wow, mentorship and having mentors really checks all of those boxes.
Mm-hmm.
What's the laughing for?
I don't know. I have a feeling this is just going to be a day full of mm-hmm.
Give me something to work with, girl. Don't let it be your intro, like, did you know? And then you're like, mic drop and you're out of here. And I got to cover this for the next 60 minutes. Anyway. Whoa.
That's saying it.
Sure it is. It better not.
It is.
So one of the things that, you know, and I don't think a lot of times people think about it, because like I said, I didn't even know it was a thing. Like if we talk about mentors, I'm certainly like, yeah, those are important. But when you think about it from a protective factor, that mentorship is another one of those huge social supports that's so valuable for people. And the one thing we want to do for our children, whether they are in our classrooms, they're our own kids or what have you, is to try to increase the number of protective factors that they have in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're looking at me like, uh-huh.
Yeah, no, I know these things.
You know this. So tap into some of, because I know you finished the child advocacy studies program.
Protective factors are really important in kids' lives, yes. I think, thinking about, words are hard today. Anyways, I don't know that I'm going to say this in the most coherent, correct way, so you might need to help me out.
I got you, girl.
But when you think of the people who have the protective factors, what demographic has the most protective factors, they're also the ones who have the most mentors, versus the people with the least amount of protective factors often are the ones without mentors.
That is absolutely true, unfortunately. And so, especially when we're looking at protective factors versus risk factors, and we want to try to increase the protective factors and mitigate as many of the risk factors as we can. And you're right, there's some that's just very disproportionate. And so we know that those who are more likely to have mentors, maybe in more middle to upper class, they are more likely to have educated parents and so forth. So the ones who are less likely to have mentors in their lives would be those in lower poverty areas and less educated parents. And so that's why I think the value of mentorship programs, right? Like, what is it? Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Mm-hmm. Those are hugely impactful programs in a lot of different areas. And so therefore, even though we know that, then we look at what are some potential for natural mentorships that are within their given, day-to-day world, outside of family relationships. And so a lot of that, you're going to be looking at schools, a lot of people, obviously compulsory education. So going to school. So you're looking at a lot of your teachers who certainly, I think there was a study that said 95% of the teachers not certain like which 5% did not say this, but almost all the teachers said, yes, mentors are extremely important in children's lives. And so, what that looks like in each school, and a lot of the schools that I've worked with, they intentionally try to do those things, but yet there's, if you've got 25 to 30 kids in your classroom, and especially if you're in junior high or high school and they're moving around a lot more, there seems to be less opportunity to develop those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So, and another big one are those coaching relationships. And so I don't know if you've seen some of your peers, not necessarily maybe on the same teams as you, but I know your college, there was a high rate of student athletes and so forth. And I think a lot of times why, especially in college, a lot of times why students stay is, part of it is they like playing the sport, but they also really value those relationships that they have with their coach and teammates.
Yeah. It's definitely there.
And so what are, like, especially if you think of some of the positive statements, like what were some of the things that you heard some of the, students say? Does it seem that long ago?
I don't talk to people. Like, I usually only hear people being like, ugh, my coach, da da da. I don't hear the, oh my God, my coach is whatever, right.
Oh yeah, I did hear a lot of those 5 a.m. workouts. Like, yes, my coach is making me do that, or running the laps, right? But they still show up.
Right. And I feel like people only talk about the negatives.
Because probably as peers, they were venting. Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of those relationships are. And yet, I think this goes maybe to even talk about, like, what is that role of a mentor? And what is it not? Because I think sometimes people, and I've seen people do this, and it's not very helpful, but sometimes people go from one person to another, sort of mentor hopping or people hopping in their, like, wanting people to validate their own thoughts or opinions or actions and so forth. And the minute they start to get feedback,
they're out. They're on to the next.
And so when that happens, those individuals are usually not going to probably, and I'm saying this very generally, but they're not likely to grow as much. So there's something about that mentor relationship where you're getting that feedback, and that feedback can be seen as an opportunity for growth or improvement, right? Like the 5 a.m. workouts, the coach isn't doing that for just because let's just do something for fun and giggles. I mean, the coach is usually there too. And so most of the athletes know, like, I'm doing this because, strength training is important, and I need to make certain I'm doing this off season or what have you, because this is what's going to help us be, help me be a better player, but then also help us be a better team. So they usually see the connection between the feedback or the structure, that's being asked of them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think this is, I don't know too, like thinking in terms of you being a graduate student and knowing the immense amount of feedback that you have probably gotten. Yeah, graduate counseling programs are not for the faint of heart.
Oh, Lord.
There is constant feedback.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And sometimes it can feel overwhelming or like, I don't know.
Like I want to bang my head against a wall?
Yeah, because why? Like, tell me what that experience is like for you.
I don't know. It's just like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You constantly have to be improving.
And you know that.
Yeah.
And you stick with it.
Yeah.
Because why?
I don't know. Because I have to. Like, I don't have to, but like I have to.
You have to if you what?
If I want what I want.
And what is it you want?
I don't know at this point.
You're in the midst of it. Clarity is not seeing the trees through the forest.
I am officially 50% of the way done. Don't ask me what I want anymore. I don't know. At this point, ask me when I'm done.
Is it 50% or did you get a little bit over?
No.
You're right there?
I'm right there.
Right there.
Because this semester hasn't started.
Well, okay, number of semesters. I didn't know credit-wise. There's lots of ways to add that up.
Number of semesters, sweetheart.
But with that, and so when you're in the midst of getting all that feedback and knowing that you're getting this because it's helping you grow where you want to grow, even if you can't quite envision that yet, there's still a part of you that's trusting the process. And that a lot of that comes out in mentorship too, right? There's this process to become what you want to become, whether that's a counselor or whether that's, a basketball player or, an engineer or a plumber or whatever. Like there's a learning process involved that we end up finding people around us like, I want to learn from them.
Yeah. I don't know that's ever, I want to learn from them. I don't know. I just think it's like, do you know what you're talking about? So I guess I'll just follow along.
Well, and that might be a good point. The difference between a teacher and a mentor. There's a I don't believe all of your teachers will be mentors. Certainly mine weren't. Like, I like them. They may have been good teachers, but they may not have been a mentor because I think a mentor, there's more of a reciprocal relationship there. Like even a little bit more personable kind of stuff where they might share some of their, as a mentor, I might, like I'm thinking like when one of my mentees starts to feel overwhelmed or like giving up or, they really reach a hard part, then there's some who are students and I might share the words that they need to hear. But if it's really somebody that I've developed that mentor relationship with maybe a little bit more closely, depending on the situation, I might share more of my own personal experiences and how I got through those that might parallel those, right? Like a part of me, I think a definite, for many people, is your dissertation chair. I'm not saying that, yeah, don't feel like you need to go that route. But
ask me again in 5 years.
Oh, wait. That's not a hard no.
It's not a hard no, but I think the word dissertation is the whole pause right there.
Well,
if it was just school, yeah, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I don't write papers. I don't do research. It's not my vibe.
I mean, you've done research.
I've done research. It's fine. I just don't enjoy it. And I think that would very much make me want to bang my head into a wall constantly.
And I would tell any of my students, of course it would, right? Because that's part of the process. Like, even if you love research, which not a lot of my students that I've ever had love research, right? Many of us were practitioners. We are educators. We want to teach, and we need to be good researchers. Doesn't mean we have to love it.
Back to mentors.
Right. And I'm saying, like, I would say that type of relationship, because it was well over a year to 2 year process working together, similar goals. And I would share some of those experiences like, yeah, like that's how this process goes. I roll there.
I don't want to talk about school. Okay. I want to move on.
So where would you say you've had some experiences with mentors in your world? Because I would hope, like, I know your dad and I are amazing, but I would want you to have mentors.
Yeah, and I'm sure I have. Like, I'm certain I have. I just can't think of any. Because it's probably like I didn't consider them mentors. And so now I just can't place them as a mentor.
like it's that word mentor that you're sort of like,
nah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting, because if I had to say, tell me 3 adults that you've worked with since you were 8 years old, that you looked up to, that you learned from, that you felt they gave you some feedback to help you grow.
I fear I couldn't name 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, girl. Okay. Need to get you some mentors.
I think I've made it this far and I'm thriving. I think I'm really okay.
Well, and I think sometimes too, reflection, but maybe when I was your age, I don't know that I would have recognized them in those roles. I mean, I think I would have. But another thing is next week you're starting your practicum.
What did I just say? I don't want to talk about school.
All right. Well, we'll move away from that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about my mentors then.
Please do.
I will. I would say that, there were probably, I think there were teachers I looked up to that I think gave me feedback in a way that I wanted to grow, that helped me, and the validation too, right? Encouragement, empowerment. I think those are certainly part of that mentor. Like they believed in me maybe when I didn't believe in myself. And so I think that can be another part of that. So I think I've had some teachers along the way, and certainly coaches that were a huge part, and I think through those, it's not just like learning how to be like that skill. It's also learning the relationship components and so forth. But speaking of starting field work, one of the relationships I really valued was my relationship with my internship supervisor. Like I learned a lot and grew a lot. Like she allowed enough autonomy, believed in me, trusted, and so forth. And so felt good about being in that role. And then also, gave me the direction where I needed it and the feedback. So I was able to grow a lot in those clinical skills. And I still value her as a friend to this day. So, because I think we actually got reconnected, therefore, after a long gap of not being connected because we moved to Quincy and, a few hours away and this and that, and got reconnected. And so, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you know that one of our puppies ended up going to her son. Yeah, the one from Colorado Springs. Yeah,
I feel like you told me this.
Yes,
Rocky
went to Colorado Springs with, but it was her son and daughter-in-law who, so it's amazing how some of those relationships can evolve. And so I would say it's less of a mentorship relationship now, but more of a peer collegial, because once we both, I became more experienced as a clinician and so forth. So, yeah.
So what do you think people should look for in mentors?
That's a great question. So to me, there would be several things I would hope that young people would be getting in a mentor. Certainly encouragement. You want somebody to believe in you, who can support you and say, you can do this, right? Because if somebody is learning something new or trying to do new skills or grow their skills, they're going to be stretching themselves. It's going to be uncomfortable. And a lot of times in those growth situations, it can feel like you just want to quit and give up. And so having that mentor who's sort of there encouraging you to continue in the process, that they've got it, you can do it, I think can be really important. So that's one thing. What would you want to see?
What would I want in a mentor? I don't know. I think someone who listens but doesn't try and solve my problems for me. Like who challenges, you know?
Yeah. So I think that's huge, right? You don't want somebody to tell you what to do. You want somebody who believes you can find the solution and figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
I think somebody who is going to give feedback is really important. And I think that that's a really tough thing for people. And I think, honestly, it's becoming, I think, a growing issue, which is that sometimes people want to hear only what they want to hear, only things that are affirming and validating and tell me how wonderful I am. And so any words that smack of feedback are perceived as criticism, and they just sort of stop. And so to me, a mentor is going to provide some clear and constructive feedback to help you continue to grow. Mm-hmm. So we would want that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a plus.
Yeah.
Other things that you would think?
I don't know. I know you really like someone who encourages. I don't like encouraging people. I don't like people who encourage me. I want you to tell me that I can't do it so that I do it.
Uh-huh. So maybe somebody who knows you well enough.
Yes.
That says,
you're right, just give up.
Because anyone who knows Victorya knows.
I'm not going to give up. If you tell me to give up, that's not happening.
She is not a quitter.
Mm-mm.
Even though sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm well aware, and yet I'm not going to do it.
You're not going to do it if it's aligned with your goals.
Mm-hmm. Right?
If you're whining, or not that you would ever whine.
Right.
If somebody, not Victorya, were complaining or saying, I don't know how I'm going to do this, or what have you, then you're going to, if it's something that's important to you, you're usually going to find a way through it.
Mm-hmm.
So being challenged, that, and knowing yourself well enough to let your mentor know, like, give me a good challenge, right? Don't agree with everything I say.
If you try and solve my problems for me or try and give me solutions, no, just no.
Right. Well, and
I want to hear, well, that sucks, or okay, then quit. That's what I needed in a mentor.
Why did I just hear Dr. Holt's voice there?
I heard Dr. Styles' voice.
Did you?
Both of theirs, actually.
Because one of them was like...
Yeah. Dr. Holt says, that sucks. And Dr. Styles goes, then quit.
So you may have found a couple mentors.
But I don't consider them mentors. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that would be too lofty of a title for them. Because I think sometimes mentor, like, just even the word, like, I think sometimes people are more than that. And so mentors seem so limiting.
I just don't think that they fall into the category of mentor. I don't know. For me, I think they are great mentors. I don't think that I would consider them mentors for myself. I don't know. There's just some bridge right there that they're not crossing. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to throw this out there, and I wonder, this is where I'm going to get a lot of pushback, so I'm like over here protecting myself. I mean, could it be because you have a lot of these discussions with your dad or even me more?
I don't know how to answer that.
That put you on the spot. We don't even have to. I mean, because I'm not your mentor.
Right. You're my mom.
But there are probably quite a few things.
Very similar conversations, very similar outcomes.
Yeah. And as you tell me, I'm very critical sometimes. It's feedback.
She's my harshest critic sometimes.
And your biggest cheerleader. And I'm one of your biggest fans. A totally fangirl over here. What is that look for?
Okay. Okay.
Does that feel a little stalkish, creeperish?
No, it sounds like a lot of lying, but continue on.
Yeah, as a mom, I can't say or do anything right. I got it. Yeah.
I'm going to strangle her the next time she says that.
It's all right. Like,
I hear it on the daily.
I don't think it's daily. Maybe 3 times a week.
Maybe like 5 or 6.
All right. Maybe we'll track it.
Or I'm going to start keeping tallies.
Okay. We were talking about what do we want in mentor relationships. Yes. I do think a lot of praise and validation is important when it's authentic.
I don't like praise. It just feels so fake.
When it's true and accurate.
Yeah, no, I still don't like it.
Is that a you issue you need to work on?
It's a me issue. I don't know. I feel like I've realized that I just don't like the things that people typically want.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like this came up recently in like your last episode or something.
That you want to be contrary?
Like,
just to be contrary?
Yes. Like when we were setting goals, I was like, I like to set goals that I won't accomplish.
Mm.
Or like I don't like SMART goals because they're the desired goals. I just don't like the things that people typically want.
You do not want to conform. Is that the creative side of you?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't get it, but
I don't know. I'm sort of that way though too.
I don't want your praise because I don't need it.
I can get on board with that because I think I'm the same way. Like, don't get me wrong. I like kind words, acknowledgement.
I like acknowledgement. I don't, but it doesn't have to be praise.
Yeah. I think sometimes, and this is a whole different topic, sometimes praise can feel uncomfortable. Compliments can feel uncomfortable at times.
True.
But I do think a mentor should be pointing out the strengths and whether it's the skills or the opportunities or performance or what have you, when those were done well or our strengths, and those should be pointed out and acknowledged. I would say, and this could go back to my own supervision style or what have you, and teaching style and even my counseling style, which is we build on our strengths. And so we want to find an individual's strengths and lead with those. If we want to look at deficits in ourselves or others, we can surely find a lot. But yet can we look and find all the strengths and then build on those as we become the person we want to be, or help somebody else become the person, the athlete, the employee, the whatever it is that they want to be? How do we help them reach their goals? And so that might be another thing that we really want with a mentor, is that shared purpose of this person is going to help me, or I'm going to help this person achieve this goal that they want. And I am in their life and have that skill set to be able to help them achieve that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think we can have a lot of different mentors for different reasons, because
as long as you're not hopping around looking for them to agree with you.
Right. And I think that speaks to a more deep mental health issue, right? Which is that what do they call it? It's totally escaping my mind, but that need for constant validation from other people, which really speaks to maybe some adverse childhood experiences, insecure attachments, other emotional challenges that they're dealing with that they do that. So yeah.
Isn't it true that having mentors reduces depression?
Absolutely. Right? Because I think another thing, mentors help you have hope. They help you find the things that you have self-efficacy with, right? So right there, when you talk about with depression, hopelessness and helplessness, a mentor or other caring adults, other types of relationships are going to be there. The other thing is depression a lot of times happens because feeling isolated, feeling on your own or by yourself. And so having a mentor helps you feel more connected and like you belong somewhere. That's a good point. I think it would also, it can also help remediate any types of anxiousness, right? Because I think you're going to have some levels of anxiousness when you think of an athlete and game performance, or you're thinking of on the job and, having big projects or things like that. So those are going to be naturally anxiety-ridden types of activities. Anxiety is just a feeling, right? Feeling anxious is normal.
Push it down. It's fine.
I don't know that that's the best advice to be given. I think we need to give some context.
I say it a lot, guys. I've said it in our episode about anxiety. I'm like, just push it down. Don't feel it. You'll be okay.
And I'm going to reframe that in the sense that just because you're feeling anxious doesn't mean that you have to perform with anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like getting through that interview. Like, yeah, most of us all feel anxious. I don't care how many jobs we've had, and even if you don't need the job, but you want the job, you're going to feel anxious usually. That doesn't mean that during the interview, I have to look anxious, right? Like, I guess I am essentially, whether it's I'm pushing it down or I'm managing the anxiousness to a level that it's not coming out in, and everybody experiences anxiousness differently, right? Whether it's hands trembling or, some people will like do some repetitive types of behaviors. Like this could be one. Like those are self-soothing types of things for anxiousness. Doesn't mean we have to do it.
And mentors can help with anxiousness.
They can, because they're gonna normalize those experiences. Like, of course you're gonna feel anxious. That's okay, right? Like that's a normal feeling, and you're still gonna go do what you need to do to get through this experience that you want for yourself, right? Or maybe you don't. Like nobody loves interviews, right? That's not the experience you want for yourself. Although sometimes we do want to gain interview skills or this or that. So we sometimes want those experiences, but that's not ultimately what we want. What we want is that job. And to secure the job, we have to get through the anxious interview. Or, like for athletes, a lot of time, or our fine arts folks with their musicals or concerts or something, the anxiousness related to performance is totally normal, and that can help us, right? That's where anxiousness can help us because it makes us want to do a really good job. And so we perform better when we feel sometimes a little bit anxious until we start getting some of those things down a little bit. And a mentor will help validate that and hopefully help you understand your own coping skills to get through those situations. Excellent point.
Thank you.
Yeah. So red flags for mentors.
I love a good red flag.
You do? So what would be some red flags for mentors?
The ones who get overly involved. I don't know what I mean by that, but I'm hoping you could go somewhere with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same thing, right? Like a mentor, much like a parent, has to have that right balance of, I'm going to be involved in this, and yet this is you. You need to do these things. And so allowing you that autonomy to do it on your own with their support and guidance as needed. So yeah, totally makes sense. Other red flags so you can foresee.
What you got? I
think some other red flags would be, trying to create a mini-me.
Let them be their own person.
And not only their own person, right? Like, and again, this is maybe parallels some parenting. Like, I have mentored some folks, and honestly, they're going to be way better at some of those things than I ever would be. And that is okay. So there's lots of different ways to take things and grow. And it's always awesome when I'm working with somebody and the way that I've mentored them through certain things, help them get through a certain part. Because what I want to do is not only help with the skills and the knowledge, but the competency. And to me, especially when I'm thinking about helping therapists become really competent therapists, you're not going to get a competent clinician without confidence. And so it's this combination of skills and knowledge and confidence, and that comes through different experiences. So nobody's going to do it the exact way that I do it, and I wouldn't want them to. I think they're going to find their own voice and authenticity and be as equally amazing, if not better. So no mini-me's. Other red flags, besides the overly involved mini-me's, I think either, and we sort of talked about this, either being only offering praise and superficial praise at that, like all these really nice words, but maybe they don't contain a lot of substance that's helpful, or only being overly critical, only pointing out those things. I think it takes this balance of recognizing strengths and validating those, through the recognition while also providing feedback. And I think going back, and I know you don't want to talk about your own school, but that's something, when especially working with young professionals or counselors in training specifically, I am going to always be giving feedback, right? I'm going to recognize the strengths, and I don't care if you've met the expectations of where you need to be at this point. I'm always going to give you feedback to keep you on that growth journey so that you can keep growing your skills to show up with clients.
In addition to that, I was thinking like backhanded praise. Does that make sense?
Tell me more.
Well, because we were talking about like making a mini-me and how you were like, well, some of these people are going to go on to do better than I can,
Mm-hmm.
And so like giving them a compliment, but also in a way that it minimizes in a way. I don't know. Does it make sense though?
It does make sense, right? Like if somebody says, like they're saying it as a compliment, but it really comes across as diminishing the importance of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that never feels good, no matter who it's coming from. That's very true. Because then it doesn't feel real and authentic. And I think that's going to affect the overall relationship. Yeah. Other red flags?
Not that I can think of.
I think another red flag would be if a mentor, and this ties into something else we said, which is if they're not respecting your self-efficacy to make some of your own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think along with that is in mentors who have overly rigid ways that it must be done. And so I think that goes with that autonomy. Like there's lots of right ways to do most things. Like there's a few like, no, don't do that. But there's a lot of right ways that things can be done. So allowing the other person to explore, find their own voice or style, what have you. So I think those are definitely some different things. I think going back to, what I think good mentors also do, which is really having that sense of balancing high expectations with that support. Like you can do this. And I think this goes back to helping them understand that like they can achieve those really tough goals that they've set for themselves. Like you can do this. And to do that, here's what's going to have to happen. So there are high expectations and you can do it, right? That support that's all along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever, I guess, thinking about that, because that I think in my experience as a mentor, that I think is one of the most uncomfortable thing for people to sit with is that process of what they need to do to meet some of those high expectations.
What do you mean? What are you asking me here?
Well, like, have you ever gone through some of those experiences where you know you've got to get through it, this is not feeling good, you're overwhelmed, you're frustrated, all of those things that are in that messy middle to try to get to that goal or achievement that you have?
Yes.
Yes, I know you have. As a witness to your life, you have.
Yeah, no, yes, I have.
But how do people stick with it? Because I think that that's the hard part for a lot of people.
I think a lot of it is you just gotta do what you gotta do.
But not everybody can do that.
Okay, well, that's their problem. I don't know how to speak for their experiences when you just gotta do what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
Life's rough. Get over it.
Great empathy there.
Listen, I think we've discovered that I don't got a lot of that.
Oh, you do.
Well, in certain situations.
Not when it comes, I think when it, not
when
to
it
yourself.
comes to me, no. Just get over it. You're fine.
You're fine.
You're fine. And it works for me, and it's fine.
It works for you. I almost wonder when you say that, like, are you hearing your dad's voice?
No, he's like a little too much for me. Like, even sometimes he says things, and I'm like, Russell, just no. Just no.
Because people are who they are.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you have found what works for you. Mm-hmm. So, are there any other things that you would want people to know? Like a part of me, and I know you don't want to talk about this, but I'm still going to make you anyway, because we're doing an episode, which is, you know, you're starting your practicum, and you're going to be working with
You're
going
to make me crash out right now.
When you think of mentors, what would you want them, these kids that you're planning on working with, what would you want them to have in the world?
I don't know.
I have a feeling when we ask you this next year, you'll know. That's all that process and progress.
To be honest, the only thing that's coming to mind is they should go touch grass. I don't know.
What?
It's a good thing. Just go touch grass. Because, like, everybody's chronically online and whatever.
So, okay, help me out. What does go touch grass mean? Get offline and...
That means, yeah, pretty much. Just, like, go outside. Go do something actually productive. You're done. You're done.
So you need to
come down to earth a little bit. Go touch some grass.
Okay.
Be realistic. I don't know. It could be taken so many different ways, and I don't know. That was the only thing that came to my mind.
Go touch grass. Yeah. Well, thank you for enlightening us too. You know.
Yeah.
So I wonder how in trouble I'm gonna get if something like you're discombobulating, and I'm like, Victorya, go touch grass.
Yeah, probably a lot of trouble.
Probably.
If I'm over the edge, I would not tell me to go touch grass.
No. I think you'd have to be in a very fun, playful mood. I'm like, go touch some grass, girl. So, what would you say your takeaways from today's conversation
are? Everybody deserves a mentor right now. I don't know that I am that for some people. I'm not prepared for that. I don't know. Mentors are good. They're good to have. They're important. And yeah. What do you got?
I mean, I think it just goes back to what we said from the very beginning is just how valuable mentors are in people's lives. And I think throughout, I mean, we are talking specifically, those 12 to 29-year-olds, but yet I think mentors can extend along in a variety of different roles, especially as we go into our careers, but especially for children and young adults, having mentors is so important as a protective factor. Those relationships, the sense of connection and belonging, and helping them navigate this messy world and the messy situations that we encounter all the time. And they just need help figuring out how to navigate those. Those are my main takeaways.
Cool.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.